Hey Amelia, thank you so much for coming along this afternoon. It's great to meet you, and I have a few questions for you. What does it mean to you to have won the Hong Kong Young Writers Awards 2013 for poetry?
Well, when I was shortlisted, it was a bit of a shock, and I was really excited to be shortlisted. And then, we went to the awards ceremony, and when they announced my name for the winner, I was ecstatic. It was really exciting. Really happy.
Quite an experience for you, I'm sure. And did you find participating in this competition improved your English? And what else did you learn through the process?
I think, it did improve my English, and I found that I learned a lot about poetry, because I hadn't really written much poetry before that, but when I did participate in this, I discovered new techniques and new ways to develop my poetry, and I really enjoyed, I learned about how every word makes a difference in the poem. You have to be careful about what you say. I would change one word and the whole poem would be like an entirely different story.
Okay, I understand. So it's about being careful and attention to detail, I suppose. Perfect. And has winning the poetry category motivated you to enter this year? And what are your plans for preparing, and what lessons can you apply?
I'm definitely going to apply this year. I enjoyed last year writing about life, linking it to life, and I thought that was really interesting way to motivate myself and to get involved in the piece, and I could relate to it. So I think I want to do something kind of true to myself, something I can relate to myself, use that kind of technique to get into the poem.
It's the winning formula that worked last year, so why not use it again this year? So I understand that makes sense. And it's been 6 months since the awards ceremony. Have you written anything new in your spare time that you can share with us? What kind of things?
I've written lots of poetry. I've got a book of poetry that I've been writing in. Whenever I get a bit of inspiration, I'll write down the ideas. I've got a few poems in that book as well.
Fantastic. What kind of things do they relate to?
Well, I think a lot of them relate to life as well, and then there's a few others that were kind of about experiences I had recently had or I was going through at the time. Anything that I can relate to, I think, is easier to write about for me, and it's a great experience to write about those things, about those topics.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much. Do you have any creative tips for future participants relating to maybe research or writing techniques?
Well, when we were researching, I did a lot of research in class as well as outside of school. I think if you look at other poems, you can look at techniques that they've used, and I think that can influence your writing yourself. And but don't only be looking at the poems. We used imagery and pictures of the wall to take inspiration from those pictures, as well as from the poems that we'd read in class.
Okay, so in terms of tips for people, what else would you say?
I've said it a lot. I've said it a lot so far, but I think if you can relate to it, I think the poem always kind of flows. I guess it's easy to it comes naturally, I guess, and you know exactly what to write if you're relating it to yourself. But do take risks when you're writing your poem. Make sure you're taking risks in terms of the techniques you're using, in terms of the wording you're using. Make sure you're using certain words that are going to change your poem, Make that one little bit of a difference to your poem.
Okay.
That really helps as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming this afternoon, and I think that's some great advice. So thank you.